Death is an inevitable part of life, but not every passing has a clear or logical explanation. While most can be attributed to natural causes or tragic accidents, some cases defy reason, leaving behind more questions than answers. Throughout history, there have been deaths so unusual, so perplexing, that they challenge our understanding of the world. Whether due to mysterious circumstances, unexplained phenomena, or events so improbable they seem almost impossible, these stories continue to intrigue and disturb those who hear them. In this video, we'll explore 3 of the most bizarre and unexplained deaths that occurred in the 21st century. Each one is a reminder that sometimes truth is far stranger than fiction. Let's begin. Story 1. In the bustling city of Boston, the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, MBTA, serves as a vital lifeline for countless commuters. However, on February 21, 2005, a tragic incident at the Porter Square station in Cambridge cast a somber shadow over the daily routines of many. Francisco Portillo, a 34-year-old resident of East Boston, originally from El Salvador, was a prep cook at a restaurant in Cambridge. That day, he had been hanging out at Kaya, a sushi bar in Porter's Square. At around 9:45 p.m., he was either sitting or lying down on the 143-foot-long escalator when the hood of his sweatshirt became snagged in the escalator's comb pick, dragging him to the floor and choking him until another commuter hit the emergency stop button. The MBTA Transit Police had originally received a call saying that a man was having a seizure after a witness saw Portillo struggling. Officials said an inspector was at the station within 2 minutes. Several people tried unsuccessfully to help Portillo, but his sweatshirt was too tight around his neck to remove. Paramedics would eventually have to cut him loose in order to free him. Emergency responders transported Portillo to Cambridge City Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Following an investigation, officials from the MBTA and state safety agencies concluded that the death was a tragic accident, with no indications of foul play or mechanical failure. This incident underscores the potential dangers associated with escalators. While generally considered safe, escalators can pose risks, especially when users are inattentive or misuse them. Clothing entanglements, as seen in Portillo's case, can have fatal consequences. In the aftermath of such tragedies, it's crucial for public transportation authorities and passengers alike to prioritize safety. Simple precautions, such as standing upright, holding handrails, and ensuring clothing and accessories are secure, can prevent similar incidents in the future. Francisco Portillo's untimely death serves as a poignant reminder of the unforeseen dangers that can lurk in everyday situations. His story emphasizes the importance of vigilance and safety, even in our daily routines. Story 2. Hospitals are places of healing, where lives are saved and miracles happen every day. But for one family in New York, a routine medical procedure turned into an unimaginable tragedy, one that defied expectation and highlighted a hidden danger in modern medicine. This is the story of Michael Colombini, a 6-year-old boy whose life was cut short by something no one saw coming. An oxygen tank turned into a deadly missile. It was July 31, 2001, when Michael Colombini arrived at Westchester Medical Center in Valhalla, New York. The bright, energetic boy from Croton-on-Hudson had recently suffered a head injury after falling at home, and doctors recommended an MRI to assess any potential damage. An MRI, or magnetic resonance imaging scan, is a non-invasive procedure that uses powerful magnets to create detailed images of the body's internal structures. While completely safe under normal circumstances, the machine operates with an intense magnetic field, so strong that any metal object brought too close can become a deadly projectile. That afternoon, Michael was placed inside the MRI scanner. But partway through the procedure, something went wrong. He began experiencing breathing difficulties, prompting immediate concern from the medical team. In a desperate attempt to help him, an anesthesiologist rushed to bring in supplemental oxygen, and that's when disaster struck. In the urgency of the moment, the anesthesiologist grabbed a portable oxygen tank without realizing it was made of metal. As soon as he stepped into the MRI room, the tank was wrenched from his hands with tremendous force. The magnetic pull of the MRI machine was inescapable. In a fraction of a second, the tank became a high-speed projectile, flying across the room with unimaginable force, straight into Michael's head. The impact was devastating. The boy, already vulnerable and in distress, suffered a fatal skull fracture. Despite the frantic efforts of doctors and nurses, there was nothing they could do. Michael Colombini was pronounced dead shortly after. What was meant to be a routine scan had turned into a nightmare. In the aftermath, an investigation was launched to determine how such a horrific accident could have happened. The MRI room was supposed to be a secure environment with strict protocols prohibiting metal objects anywhere near the machine. But in the chaos of a medical emergency, a simple mistake, grabbing a metal oxygen tank instead of an MRI-safe one, proved fatal. The force of the MRI's magnet was estimated to be about 1,000 times stronger than Earth's gravitational pull, turning the tank into a deadly weapon. This wasn't just a rare accident, it was a reminder of the unseen dangers lurking in medical technologies. Michael's death sent shockwaves through the medical community, leading to nationwide reviews of MRI safety protocols. Hospitals tightened their procedures, ensuring that all staff, especially those responding to emergencies, were fully aware of the dangers of bringing metal objects near MRI machines. His story became a case study in medical negligence, proving how even highly trained professionals can make fatal mistakes under pressure. But for Michael's family, no amount of policy change could bring back their little boy. A child who had simply gone in for a scan, who should have walked out of that hospital healthy and whole, was instead taken in a freak accident that should have never happened. Michael Colombini's story is one of the strangest and most tragic deaths in modern medical history. It serves as a chilling warning about the hidden dangers of technology and the devastating consequences of human error. Most people fear accidents on the road, in the air, or even at home, but few would ever think of an MRI machine as a potential killer. And yet, for one family, that nightmare became a reality. Michael's death was rare, but it wasn't the only one. Similar MRI-related accidents have occurred over the years, reinforcing the importance of strict safety measures. Because when dealing with machines this powerful, even a single moment of oversight can mean the difference between life and death. Story 3. For most people, home is the one place where they feel safe. It's familiar, predictable, a sanctuary from the chaos of the outside world. But for 38-year-old Mariesa Weber, her own bedroom became a place of unspeakable horror. A bizarre accident turned into a missing person case, leaving her family desperately searching for answers, until they made a chilling discovery just feet away from where they had last seen her. This is the tragic and unsettling story of Mariesa Weber. In early October of 2006, Mariesa Weber was living with her parents in their home in Pinellas Park, Florida. She was a petite woman, standing just 5 feet tall and weighing barely 100 pounds. She was close with her family, and when she failed to show up one morning, her mother and sister immediately knew something was wrong. The last time anyone had seen Mariesa was in her bedroom the previous evening. She had spent time with her family before heading to bed, and by all accounts, everything seemed normal. But by morning, she was gone. Her family searched the house, calling out her name, looking in every room, every closet, every corner. There was no sign of her. The doors were locked, the windows shut. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Panic set in. Had she been abducted? Had she walked out in the middle of the night and met with foul play? Unable to find her anywhere, her family reported her missing. Over the next 11 days, they put up flyers, contacted the police, and reached out to the community, desperately hoping for any clue that could explain her disappearance. But no one had seen or heard anything. The mystery deepened, until on the 11th day, they decided to search the house once more. And that's when they found her. Mariesa's sister was the one who made the horrific find. In her bedroom, there was a large wooden bookcase standing against the wall. It had been there for years, used to hold books, decorations, and even her television, but something seemed off. As they examined it more closely, they noticed something wedged behind it. At first, they thought it was a bundle of clothing that had fallen, but when they pulled the bookcase away from the wall, they saw the truth. There, crumpled upside down in the narrow gap between the bookcase and the wall, was Mariesa's lifeless body. She had been there the entire time. Authorities were called, and after an investigation, the pieces of the puzzle finally came together. On the night she disappeared, Mariesa had been trying to adjust the plug for her television. The outlet was located behind the heavy bookcase in an awkward position that made it difficult to reach. In an attempt to get to it, she must have climbed onto the furniture or tried to squeeze into the narrow space. But at some point, she lost her balance and fell headfirst into the gap. The space was so tight that once she was in, she couldn't move. Trapped upside down with her head below her body, she slowly asphyxiated, unable to call for help, unable to free herself. Her family had searched the room multiple times, but because the bookcase was heavy and flush against the wall, there were no immediate signs that she was there. For 11 agonizing days, they had been sleeping just feet away from her without realizing. The Webers smelled her body decomposing, but they blamed dead rats behind the walls. An incident report by Pasco County Sheriff's Deputy Wayne Johnson said conditions were so squalid inside the house when the body was found, trash all around, birds and cats and dogs in cages, that he called code enforcement and animal control. He found Mariesa Weber's bedroom choked with clothing and debris. Mariesa Weber's death was as tragic as it was unusual. It was the kind of accident that seemed almost impossible until it happened. A simple household task turned into a fatal mistake, and a missing person case turned into a heartbreaking discovery. After the discovery, her family was devastated. They had spent nearly 2 weeks searching the outside world, fearing the worst, never suspecting that the answer had been in her own bedroom all along. Mariesa's story serves as a cautionary tale about the hidden risks in everyday situations. It reminds us to be mindful of how we navigate our surroundings, especially when dealing with tight spaces, heavy furniture, or seemingly harmless household tasks. Her death was a tragic accident, one that no one could have predicted, but it stands as a haunting example of how even the most routine actions can have fatal consequences. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy videos about strange, dark, and creepy things, then please subscribe to my channel, The Midnight Files. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, or share this video with a friend. That really helps out a small channel like mine. Until next time, please stay safe out there, and as always, stay curious.